In today's tutorial, we're going to discuss learning paths. ScootPad automatically assigns your students a learning path according to their grade level. If you chose to give them the placement test will place them where they need to be on their learning path. You can choose not to give them a placement test, and it'll just start them at the beginning of that learning path. The learning paths will work the same way for math and ELA. I'm going to actually choose ELA, and I'm going to come down here and click Learning Path. You will see in here I have the ScootPad Common Core 5th grade learning path, and I also have a module 2. This is one that I created for my students. Now, the one thing about ScootPad is the students are only allowed to be assigned one learning path per grade. So my students in my class can either be on the module 2 learning path, or they can be on the ScootPad Common Core 5th grade learning path. And here you can see I have 4 students on it, and I have 1 student on the module 2. Remember, they can only have one learning path assigned to them. If you let them go on the Common Core ScootPad learning path, what it'll do is it'll start with all the Common Core from the beginning to the end, and it'll work through them there. But if you want them to be relevant to what you're doing at that particular time in class, you can go up and create your own learning path. To do that, we're going to come up here and we're going to say Add Learning Path. And I'm going to give it a name. I know you guys work in modules, so I'm actually going to say, let's say this is Module 3, because that's what we're going to be learning next. And I'm going to click Add. And what it does is it brings me into all of my concepts, and I can add the concepts that I want to my learning path. I'm actually going to choose the 5th grade because we're in the 5th. And in here, just like we did with assessments and just like we did with assignments, you can search for particular strands, or you can come down here and see your strands. Right now you see I only see 10 rows. I can come down here and choose 25 or 50. I'm going to go ahead and choose 25. And to select a concept is very simple. All I have to do is say, okay, in Module 3 that we're going to be working on this next couple of weeks in class, we're going to discuss point of view, the structure of the story, and how to quote accurately from a text, determining the main idea, and explaining relationships based on information. And that is all what we are going to be working on in Module 3. So I'm going to select those and click Add Selected Concepts. It's going to add it to Unit 1. Now I know that seems a little different for you guys because it's in Module 3, but ScootPad does things by units. And so for you, it's your Unit 1. We're going to click Add and Done. And you can see all of my concepts. See, here's my Module 3. These are my concepts that are in it. And I can have them in here. And then I go back to my learning path. And you can see now that I have my learning paths. Shared paths, these are the paths that Common Core has with ScootPad. My paths are the ones that you create. And your assigned paths are paths that you assign to students. Now, let's say I want to assign one of my students my newly created learning path. I can come up here and go to Manage Student Paths and Units and click. And I can select the students that I want to change their learning path with. Let's say I'm going to change Holly's learning path. I click her name. I can say Change Learning Path. And right here, when I pop it down, I can choose any of the ScootPad Common Core tutorial learning paths, and then I can choose one that I've created. And I'm going to choose the Module 3 because that's the one that I just created because that's what we're doing in class this week. So I'm going to click Module 3, and I'm going to say Change and Close. And then I can come up here and say Done. And now you can see for my Module 3, I have one student assigned to that module. So it's kind of nice because, you know, I can create different learning paths to differentiate between my students and their learning levels. Or I can just let it go with my students on ScootPad's Common Core learning paths and create my own or use ScootPad's learning paths in there.